I truly believe that, following other people's footsteps will only take you down their path. I think you have to pave your own pathway if you actually want to do something and be successful with your life. Because, like, if you go with all the other people by the conventional means of education and get a normal job and work a 9 to 5, there's nothing special in that field. It's already been explored. That's why there's so many people in it. There's nothing new you can do there. Like, I think you have to pave your own pathway if you really want to do something. I want you guys to think about this picture right here. Okay? You see how there's one person walking in that new path and then a million people walking in the other path. That's what I mean. You have to be that one person. You have to explore unknown territory. You have to do something new, be unique, do something that no one's ever done. Or I think you're just going to get the same mediocre results as everyone else. Mediocrity won't get you anywhere. If you really want to have an impact on your life, you really have to stand out. You have to be kind of weird. You have to be strange among the sheeple, all the people out there that just do the same thing. They get up, go to work, enjoy vacation once in an oblivion, go to university. And I'm not saying these are bad things, but I'm saying like the more you do what everyone else is doing, you really have nothing special going on for you. Like a personal example from my life at school, I've always been reminded. I'm in grade 12 right now. My entire 12 years, I've been reminded get good grades or you're going to be homeless. Like you're going to be unsuccessful. You're going to be a failure if you don't get good grades. My own teacher, pointed me out in class, said, Daniel, you're failing. What are you doing? You're going to be a bum. And everyone laughed at me. I almost took it personally, but then I thought, she doesn't know, she doesn't have my perspective on life. She doesn't like understand that any person who's like done something really big, they did not go by the conventional means. They became obsessed with something. They did something that they loved that was not taught and they just stuck with it. So my teachers, they constantly say you're going to be homeless and stuff and like you're not going to be successful. And I just don't believe that. And I think the reason why a lot of people stay in the same path is because our society has, built itself in a certain way that like it really frightens you if you just think about not following the orders that society demands. You know, if you don't go to university and don't work a 9 to 5, they say you're destined to be a bum. If you don't have a job, you're going to be homeless. But they also cover up the fact that like most people who have a lot of money are very successful and are just very well off in their life and leave a lasting impact. Most people like that chose their own path, they realized like, okay, what you're feeding me is garbage. I don't need it. I can function on my own. I can think for myself. I know what I need. I can be independent. And then they build their own pathway. That's honestly like a hard truth that I think a lot of people have to realize. For me, in school, I realized for myself at a very early age that I literally cannot follow orders like that. You can't just give me a pile of work, information, and expect me to just become some magic brainiac and then do good on the test next week. Like, I just don't function like that. I function at my own pace. I don't think I could ever be, you know, incubated in a cubicle or like an office with orders of a more authoritative boss above me telling me what to do. I just can't really function like that. Like I need my own free space, and that's why I'm trying to pursue YouTube because I can literally like muster up any possible idea, and I'll just record on my camera. I'll start filming, and that's it, right? I can actually use my creativity. I can express myself however I want to express myself. I don't have a set of rules or expectations or regulations I have to live by based off of like whatever my boss or manager tells me. So school taught me that I can't follow those standard um, expectations. And, I learned this very young. That's why I'm speaking on it right now. Like I'm not a professional. I don't want you guys thinking that I know more than you, right? I'm just sharing my experience. I've learned this from a young age that I can't really follow orders like that. And then I put that information to use. So I needed money at some point a couple years ago, 2 years ago. And then I was thinking of getting a job, but I just like don't. I never wanted to work for someone. I just couldn't see that happening. I work best in my own free space. I don't like giving orders. I don't like being told what to do. You know. So what did I do? I started my own business at 15, which is still running to this day. It's making me a lot of money. And so it's a home service business. Basically, just went around. I started knocking on doors, selling people window cleaning, pressure washing, different home services. And I learned this skill of selling all by myself. No one's help. I didn't take any courses. I didn't talk to anyone. I read two books and I just went out. I started knocking. I learned everything by myself. And this kind of showed me that like I don't really need anyone to teach me anything. If I really want to learn something, I will learn it. I don't think I need like that sort of system. Thinking on next year, since I'm in grade 12, I have to decide what I want to do for next year. I already applied to a couple universities because like, everyone did that. And now I'm just looking back at it. I'm like, do I really want to go to university? Do I want to pay $100,000 for 4 years for a degree that doesn't really matter, for information that's outdated since I want to go into like marketing, business? I just won't enjoy it. I don't like going to lectures. I don't like going to classes and listening to things I don't need to listen to. Like, I'm not passionate about it. Like, in university, I might be more passionate about business, but like, I just hate being in school. And I never really did that good in school because I always knew there was something more. Like, I would never end up with the information and things I was taught. So it made me more independent, right? And I started doing some realization. I want to take a gap year next year. I want to do what I'm really passionate about. I want to give myself an opportunity that I probably won't get at all in my life. I want to take a gap year, don't go to university. I want to focus on my business, which is like a part time thing. I'm not thinking of doing window cleaning forever. And then I want to focus on YouTube. I think I have a future in content creation. I'm just getting into it. I don't know too much about it, but I know through trial and error, just like knocking on all those doors. Every knock is like one video posted, and then I'm gonna self audit myself and keep on learning through the process. And I really think I have it in me. I've been told by a lot of people that you have a bright future ahead of you. You don't think like everyone else. I can't, like, I think outside the box. And I think, like, if you really want to excel in life and do something, like, if you want to do something crazy, you have to be, like, obsessed with something. You have to take a different pathway. I'm obsessed with YouTube. Like, I really want to do this. And I know I can't do 50-50. I can't do 50-50 school and then YouTube. I have to go all in. So that's why I'm doing nothing next year. I'm just going all in on YouTube, all in on business. Business is like a side thing. But I'm locking in, right? Um, yeah, so a quote that I wrote down because it really relates to this topic, and I always remember it when I'm like kind of doubting my own thoughts. We all do that, don't we? Anyways, the quote is, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." So let me just put this in perspective. So there's a path in the forest, and this forest has a lot of berries. You think that path will have a lot of berries for you? There's so many footsteps. There's trails of people walking, cars, animals. Do you think there's gonna be a lot of berries there? Probably not. And I like to think of the berries as opportunity. Money, opportunity, fame, whatever you want. But if you go into the trenches of the forest on your own, you don't know what's coming, but you just have that mindset that you're going to find something ahead. And then you find some berries, and they're untouched, completely untouched. You will find opportunity in exploring new territory. And so many people are afraid of that because they're just conditioned in that way to think that, oh no, if you don't go to university, you're going to be homeless. And like since day one, the people running these big corporations and businesses, they've been telling us this to make us scared, right? I'm extremely lucky to have learned this lesson so early on in life. And I want to share with you guys, like once again, I'm not a professional. I'm 17 years old, but I just want to share my perspective on things. So maybe it can give you a little idea in life. Maybe you can put these ideas into your own thoughts, see how it'll play out in your books. Yeah, I just think you need to be independent and unique and like different. You see all these like famous, successful people like Mr. Beast. This guy, watching his videos today, he's like really obsessed with YouTube. Like he did not go the conventional means of education. He dropped out. He just started posting YouTube, and he was literally like borderline homeless at one point. He just kept on posting and posting, and then eventually he became successful. And like you see any like athlete, sports player like Michael Jordan, he was obsessed with his sport. He knew that like, okay, I'm not gonna have an average life. I'm gonna do something special with my life. I'm gonna live a crazy life. Most people's dreams, like I know you guys dream of this life. You dream of driving a nice car, living in a nice, high rise Miami, uh, warm climate apartment. Like I don't even know. So just reconsider. Like, do you think following the same path as everyone else will take you there? Like, even if you do work the same job as everyone else, it's okay, right? But maybe you just have to like upgrade your mindset a little. You just have to think outside of the box, like how you do the work, how you spend your money, how can you invest, like something like that. Just keep these thoughts in consideration. I just think you need to be unique if you really want to be successful. And I'm not really saying I'm 100% successful yet. I know I'm going to be successful. See, I'm manifesting this in myself, but yeah.